Hey, what's up you guys, it's me Sparxxyy and welcome back to another episode of Cooper Q&A. I'm pretty sure I say this almost every single episode, but it's been a while since I last done an episode of this. So for those of you who do not know what Cooper Q&A is the Sly Cooper series I do where you send me your Sly Cooper related questions and I answer them. This series is just pure fan service. Don't work for Sucker Punch, do not work for Sanzaru, do not work for Sony, and I do not work for the Sly Cooper franchise. Siri, stop talking to me, that's really weird. So basically, in short, I'm just a fangirl who really likes Sly Cooper. This is just my way of staying connected with the community. If you do want to send me a question for Cooper Q&A, you can comment your question on any Cooper Q&A related video and I'll answer it in the next episode. And most of the time I will pop up a tweet asking you guys to send me your questions for Cooper Q&A so that I can answer them. No questions, no episodes. Without further ado, let's jump into the episode. The first question today is from Tabriz. Name one aspect in each and every Sly Cooper game that you really like that the other games don't have. Like, what aspect do you like about Sly 1 that 2 and 3 and 4 don't have? What 3 does that 1, 2 and 4 doesn't, and such. This is definitely a very tricky question because I feel like after Sly 1, most of the Sly games are pretty similar. A thing that I really liked about Sly 1 that 2, 3 and 4 just didn't have in common was how lenient it is. Really love the leniency of that game, and I just have a thing for lenient video games, hence why I like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, just very straightforward, to the point, and I feel like sometimes Sly 2, 3 and 4 weren't quite like that, and that's the issue that I had. So for Sly 1, that I liked most about Sly 1 that the others don't have is its lenient gameplay. For Sly 2, I want to say the theme of the game, even though Sly 2 and 3 are on the same engine, I feel like the theme in Sly 2 is very different to the theme in Sly 3. I really liked the whole entire aesthetic and theme, and I think it comes down to soundtrack, the way the levels are designed, and I feel like it's just a very dark sort of atmosphere for Sly 2. Like I get a vibe that the levels are dark, you know, sort of with Dimitri's and Rajan and then the Contessa level and all of that. Even John Bazon's hub world I feel is got kind of a dark vibe to it despite it being a snowy atmosphere, and I kind of liked that atmosphere and how they kind of subliminally carried it along in each hub world. I don't know if that's on purpose or a pure coincidence, but it's something I noticed. Something Sly 3 has that Sly 1, 2 and 4 doesn't have that I really liked. I was about to say the soundtrack. Obviously Sly 1, 2 and 4 have a soundtrack, but what I mean is just how the Sly 3 soundtrack is so memorable. Quite honestly, Sly 3 is my least favourite out of the entire series, but I'll always remember some of the hub world soundtracks and the mission soundtracks and all of that. So for me, with Sly 3, it's the really memorable soundtrack. And for the fourth game, a very unpopular opinion, but I did like Sly 4's design. I did like Sly's design in Sly 4, like his character model. I just thought it looked really good and kind of added a little bit of an aged effect. I don't know if that's just maybe the transition from PS2 graphics to PS3. There's not really a lot of good things you can say about Sly 4 because obviously the entire community hates it. Okay, so the next question is from Thieving Raccoon at The Real NCP. They asked two questions. So the first one is, what ultimately do you think will end up happening between Sly and Carmelita's relationship? And or if you could create your own canon ancestor, what time period would you pick and why? So with your first question, what do I think happened with Sly and Carmelita's relationship? Quite honestly, I feel like they would get back together. At the end of Sly 4, when Sly goes missing, you can tell that Carmelita is quite upset about Sly's disappearance. She helps Bentley and Murray track down Sly after he goes missing in the time machine. She obviously cares about him to an extent to help her friends and the opposite side of the law help look for this criminal that she was once dating, we think, and she is after again because he obviously went behind her back and betrayed her and pretend to have amnesia and all of that. I feel like maybe they would get back together and they would reconcile and Sly would make it up to her. And the next question from them is, if you could create your own canon ancestor, what time period would you pick and why? I'd probably have another ancestor that was British. I would kind of have another ancestor like Sir Galuf and the whole English-British vibe because, you know, I'm British and we like a little bit of rep apart from the bad rep. And the last question from Thieving Raccoon would be, what do you think caused Clockwork's absolute hatred of the Cooper clan? Would it be something as simple as they were just better thieves, or do you think it's more than a simple petty grudge? Honestly, I do think it was jealousy, because even in Sly 1, Clockwork says himself that he wanted to show the world that without the Thievius Raccoonus, thieves could still be great thieves. Sly wasn't an evil thief, he only stole from other thieves, he didn't really steal stuff that weren't already stolen, if that makes sense. So I think Clockwork was genuinely quite petty about that, and the fact that it was jealousy and he wanted the Clockwork clan and the Fiendish Five to be the best thieves of all time. I'm sorry, I live with a very noisy family. As I was saying, I just do think that Clockwork was petty and that he wanted to be the best thieves of all time, as well as the Fiendish Five, and just take that away from the Cooper clan pretty much. Next question is from Shravan, is that correct? What is one gameplay aspect from the first 3 games that you would have liked to seen in Sly 4? What new addition to Sly 4 did you like? To answer your first question, I feel like the gameplay aspects with 2, 3 and 4 are all follow the same theme and the same style in terms of gameplay. So I think maybe if Sly 4's story didn't suck as much. I feel like Sly 4's story was great and it had loads of potential, but I feel like Sly 4's story was great and it had so much potential, but oh my god, you're giving me a day! As I was saying for the 50,000th time, I feel like Sly 4's story had so much more potential, but I think it was just executed extremely poorly. And ancestors such as Bob, I mean, why? They could have just replaced him with another ancestor, such as Sly Cooper, hello. And what new addition to Sly 4 did you like? I'm not sure if I've answered this question before. It might have been in the last series of Cooper Q&A I did, but I'll answer it again. And I really liked the Sly masks. Everybody hates me for that for some reason. They're like, why would you like the Sly masks? They were very tedious. I don't know, I thought they were a nice cool little addition, and I'm glad that they brought back bottles and all of that, considering in Sly 3 none of that was existent apparently. I really enjoyed collecting the Sly masks and I liked all the extras, and despite me never actually using the extras after collecting the Sly masks, I still enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. So, cool little collectible in my opinion. Next question is from Alpha Philly. Alpha Philly? I feel like I've said your name wrong before, I don't know why, but Alpha Philly, and they ask, do you look at artwork or read fanfics from the Sly community? I don't actively go out of my way to look at artwork, but I do see some artwork on my Twitter timeline that, obviously being in the Sly Cooper community, I follow a few Sly Cooper fans and things like that, and the things they retweet, and I see some really cool stuff. I know back in the day I used to go on DeviantArt a lot and look at Sly Cooper fan art. I thought that was cool, but as of right now I don't, and I don't read fanfics either. If you could choose any villain or hero from the games to bring back for a new Sly game, who would you choose? A villain that I would like to come back is Rajon. I really liked Rajon's character, and that's again such an unpopular opinion, but I did. That guy was just is a bastard. I kind of liked his hub worlds as well, which again, very unpopular opinion, but I liked his hub worlds, and I just liked him as a boss, and I found him to be the most memorable boss out of almost any Sly Cooper game I've ever played. So Rajon, we're having sets of questions today and I'm loving it. Next set of questions are from Nat. What is the game mechanic you hate the most? In Sly 3, I freaking hate those Master Thief challenges. They are worse than the Master Thief sprints in Sly 1. Yep, I said it. But the Master Thief challenges, hands down, I've never completed them because I hate them. I think they are ridiculous and they're so pointless, and they're just, I don't know, when I was young I thought they were cool, but now I'm older I'm just like, why? They were just so pointless. Just put clue bottles back. Get rid of Master Thief challenges and put clue bottles there instead. That works for me. If we got a new game and you have the possibility to add a new magic, dark magic object mechanic like magic, cane key or mask of dark earth, what do you choose? Huh? Honestly, I hate the idea of magic full stop. And a city or place that I would like to see in an upcoming Sly game. I don't know again if I've said this before, but I would really love to see London, but modern day London. I think there's just so much opportunity, not only for them to, you know, put some great British landmarks that are in the city into the game, but also kind of build around it as well, because I don't know how that works. I think it'd be really cool if they were to add something like a Big Ben or Buckingham Palace or Piccadilly Circus, something, you know? And I think that London is a good opportunity. I know that we had medieval London in Sly 4, but in my opinion, not really the same. Next question is from the Safe House, and they ask, do you think Sony still has love and plans for Sly 8 years and 2 potentially cancelled animated projects later? Yeah, but they disrespect it a lot, and the fans. I think they still love the franchise, but us fans, we get played like a fiddle, really, don't we? A little bit out of order how we've been treated, and of course how the series has been treated. Like, here's a cliffhanger at the end of Sly 4, no Sly 5 though. Here is a movie, we're cancelling it. Oh, by the way, TV show. What do you mean there's a TV show? So yeah, it's kind of all been forgotten about. But in terms of do they still have love for it, I don't know. With everything that's happened in the last 4 years, it gives me a reason to believe that they probably don't. They'd have way more respect, not only for the franchise, but for the fans as well, because we have been treated like garbage and we've just been played on like a fiddle. And the last set of questions today are from Ota Arcana. I'm sorry if I pronounced any of you guys' names wrong. What characters from previous games would you like to see return? And how? I'd kind of like to see Mugshot return, considering he made a return in Sly 3 and I thought that was iconic, even though he did get arrested again, I believe. I think it'd be cool for him to break out of prison, or for him to just serve his time, whatever, and for him to come back. I always liked Mugshot. He was my favourite boss in Sly 1. I think because I just had an obsession with dogs when I was young, and the fact that there was a hub world dedicated to dogs in my favourite game ever. But I do love Mugshot, and I like his character, and I like his backstory as well, because it's kind of sad when you think about it. If we were to meet more ancestors in future games, who would you like to see and why? I don't know if I've said this before, but I would really like to meet Thaddeus because he seemed like a gent. I also would have really liked to meet Henriette One-Eye Cooper. I think that would have been a really good hub world as well, considering she was a pirate, and we sort of already covered that pirate theme in Sly 3. Which overall heist or plan in the series has been your favourite? I think my favourite heist was the biplane part in Sly 3. I just think it was really outside of the box. I think it was a really good plan as well to defeat the Baron. In my opinion, it worked really well, and I really enjoyed just flying the biplane. And again, it was just something different, you know? It was something different to the usual heists, you know, pull this off and do this. But just flying the biplane and then doing that in Sly 3 multiplayer, chef's kiss. Really like that heist. Always look forward to it when I play Sly 3. So that is all the questions I am answering in today's episode. Thank you so much to everybody that asked a question. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving it a like. It really does help me out, and it just shows me that you enjoy this series. It does take quite a lot for me to film Cooper Q&A because I'm not really into Sly Cooper as much as I used to be. And the last time that I played Sly Cooper properly was nearly a year ago now. Obviously, I played Sly 1 a couple months ago when I beat it in one sitting, but I don't really count that because I wasn't really taking in the game, I was just sort of playing. And plus, I know that game like the back of my hand anyway, so... But when it comes to Sly 2, 3 and 4, brain fog. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I guess I'll catch you guys in my next video. Goodbye, take care, and stay sly.